10 pages of a non-fiction book, 1 gallon of water, 2 45-minute workouts, 1 must be outside no matter the weather, stick to a meal plan of choice, and a daily progress picture. This is the daily to-do list for 75 days if you're doing the 75 hard challenge, and I just did. So in this video I will talk a little bit about that journey. Was it worth it? What happened? Do I recommend it? Is it really worth the hype that it gets? Let's find out. Okay, so first, just very quick about the 75 hard. It's a mental toughness program. It is not a fitness plan, and it's supposed to be hard and challenging and out of your comfort zone, but it's still pretty flexible, so you can have like honestly whatever start point you want. It's designed by Andy Frisella. He has a whole podcast episode explaining a lot in depth and the reason why. If you're interested in doing this, I would recommend listening to that. He has, however, gotten some backlash for like being misogynistic and this challenge, especially for not really being women friendly. So it's also been created 75 soft and medium, but this challenge is very well known. If you go 75 hard on YouTube or TikTok, like there are so many hashtags, so many people doing this, and so many people saying it's life-changing. And that's why I personally wanted to do it. Of course, I want to change my life to the better. So I'm going to talk about my experience with each rule and what I thought about them, because like everyone kind of taught me different things, but all of them combined is obviously like what makes this challenging but also effective, I guess. And starting off with the rule that I like the most by far is reading 10 pages of a non-fiction book every day. I really enjoy reading, also self-help, but mostly novels, because that's like entertainment and relaxation in a way that self-help is not. So what I struggle with is honestly just getting started at these bad boys, because if I start a chapter, I really feel the need to finish that chapter. But this rule has kind of like helped my mindset around this a lot in different ways, because first of all, 10 pages is not a lot. It's like 10-15 minutes maybe. Everybody's got time for that, and that helps a lot with my all or nothing attitude. I did, for example, start on this book. I've had it since 2022 because it's only 7 habits, but it's like so many pages and such long chapters. And again, then I don't want to start on a chapter unless I have a lot of time or just like a lot of inspiration. But opening it and knowing you don't have to commit to a whole chapter, just do those 10 pages. And if you don't feel like doing the 10 pages immediately, just do 5 pages and then 5 pages later. It has like lowered the bar to pick up one of these to a really high extent for me, and that is why I really liked this. This rule has also been such a symbol of like consistency over perfection for me, honestly, during this whole challenge. Because again, you don't have to finish the whole book or the whole chapter in a sitting. Just do those 10 pages, be consistent, and then magically, without me really having to think about it, this bookmark has moved across the book, and suddenly I had read almost 4 books in just 75 days, and that's kind of crazy. So honestly, if I would recommend any rules of this challenge, it would be this rule. Just try to read 10 pages of a book every day for 75 days and see how you feel about that, because there's so much knowledge. You just have to pick it up, get started, be consistent, not perfect, and suddenly you're done with the book. 1 gallon of water is a lot. Personally, I think this was the hardest rule to follow by far, and the one I underestimated the most as well, because 1 gallon is a lot. It's very not intuitive, and I had to really go out of my way to make sure I got this done. And let me tell you, it is not enjoyable to force hydrate yourself when you're not thirsty day in and day out every single day for 75 days. It did get better though, and like the body adjusted, I guess, after a month-ish or something, and I have a lot to say about this, so I actually did make a kind of in-depth video about consuming a gallon of water for 75 and 90 days that you can check out if you want to. I'll leave it up here and in the description box. But like in summary, the hardest challenge, and kind of surprisingly the hardest rule, is 75 hard for me for sure, and I really don't see the point in consuming that much either. The next rule is to do 2 45-minute workouts every single day, and they cannot be consecutive, and one of them has to be outside. I don't know if I have a lot of thoughts about this, about being life-changing. To be honest, I love moving my body, I love to work out, and I love going for walks outside. That's like my favorite hobby. I guess for most people this would be mostly a time problem thing. Like during this time I have been an employed and an online student. I am very flexible with my schedule, so I assume this is way harder if you have a 9 to 5 and you're a mom of like, I don't know, 3 people. It's more of a time problem thing than really like executing on the workout. And so that's kind of what I feel like honestly all of these rules is, but especially the workout part is kind of like a planning issue. And so if I had plans, I knew I had committed to this, so then I just had to plan around like waking earlier up to do a workout in the morning, or making sure I got off the train or bus earlier so I could like make that walk into a 45-minute one or whatever. So I guess it did improve my planning skills, but also it is hard like committing to 2 workouts every single day for 75 days in a row. There are no breaks or exceptions, that is challenging no matter how much time you have. So I am proud of like doing that, but it is doable. So kind of like the reading rule and water rule, I guess, like if I have committed to something and told myself I'm gonna do it, it really does boost your confidence when you see you like execute on what you tell yourself, kind of no matter how easy or hard it is. I'm also kind of happy I did this in the winter because the winter is not the most fun time to be outside. So it has definitely gotten me more outside than I think I would have been without this challenge, as well as, you know, getting movement in twice a day gives endorphins and all of that. And again, I've been unemployed and an online student and kind of not mentally sane, or I have maybe because of this. Movement is very good for you. Something I kind of do not like about this though, but again, it's not a fitness challenge, it is a mental toughness challenge, and that's how I see this works. But I also think this rule could kill like movement joy. I don't know how you say that in English, because again, I love working out, I love moving my body, I love going for walks, but I love it because I do it very intuitively. I'm very grateful for like the relationship I have with exercise. Kind of like broke that intuitive movement joy that I do feel like I have, which I think is very annoying. Also, 75 days in a row twice a day, again, that's a lot, and your body needs rest. Like, this is not sustainable. I really felt like I did go harder in the first weeks, but then I was like, okay, no, I need to take a few more walk twice a day days. So yeah, that is what I really did not like about this rule. And also with just like, again, the water, very not intuitive, and that just kind of annoys me. But again, I did this challenge myself, I'm doing this for myself. You still have to do it, and like showing up for yourself that way. I think for me, I was kind of, I'll get back to that too, but I was kind of missing a why. Like, a lot of times I was like, why am I even doing this? So yeah, but one other thing that I did like about this too is that twice a day is, again, a lot of movement. And so on days I did like things that I normally do not do. I took a few dance sessions, at home CrossFit workouts, and just trying out a few things that I normally don't do, just because I had so many workouts in those 75 days to do that. So yeah, I have a rocky relationship with this rule, but I see the benefits in it, but it also had me questioning it a little bit. Then you have to stick to a meal plan of choice. He does not say what you should and shouldn't eat, but it's supposed to be challenging you a little bit, and obviously a meal plan that you would like to hopefully maybe keep to some extent after the challenge. I was a bit careful about this rule because I try to eat good and colorful and whole foods already, and I do care about what I consume, but could definitely do that to a higher extent that I do. But I also do not want like a bad relationship with food by adding more restrictions. So I kind of chose the intuitive eating plan, which is like honestly kind of what I do. Also because like diets don't work, lifestyle does, and I didn't want to like put that into the mix even for 75 days. And so in his podcast he says you can choose whatever diet you want, but no junk and no alcohol. Junk is relative, I think. A slice of birthday cake when it's your friend's birthday is not junk, but overeating it while watching TV without like thinking on a random Tuesday night could be junk. And so again, since I didn't want to mess with this rule too much, I did not care about this junk rule as Andy probably defines it. I had candy, I had cake. Again, intuitive. I ate honestly nothing different than I usually do. And I absolutely understand if you think I failed these challenges by doing that. I can definitely see that. And I think by really committing to this rule and like really challenging yourself could definitely bring your mental toughness to an even higher extent. But like, I live at home with my parents. I do not care to make my own food just to follow something that I might not even really want to carry with me past this challenge. And I just see no value for me like denying myself a pastry at a cafe if I'm with a friend, or a birthday cake if it's someone's birthday. And so even though I think you can learn and like challenge yourself a lot by committing to this rule, I'm also very aware of like the lifestyle that I want when it comes to food, and therefore I haven't really changed much what I did. And I'm not doing this challenge for anyone but myself, so that's how I came to that conclusion. The alcohol rule I did follow though, except for one day. I'll come back to that because I have a few thoughts around this too. That could be an own video, I think, about the societal drinking problems we have. I'm not a heavy drinker at all, but I also prefer not to go to events without drinking. In middle and high school I could do that easily. Recent years not so much, then I would rather not just go. But during this challenge I tried to like see how that would go. And the first very positive thing that I felt like came out of this, and first of all, when I had this reason, yeah, I'm not drinking because I'm doing the 75 hard, nobody blinked or like tried to pressure me at all, which I feel like people might do if you don't really have a clear reason, which is an own social problem to talk about, I guess. But also if my friends were like gathering and we were talking about what we were gonna do, I didn't care. Like, I just know I wasn't going to drink no matter what. But that made people like more open to not drinking. So like we went to a quiz where everybody else was students and had a beer, but everyone at my table ended up getting a soda. So that was kind of cool, I think. I did sit alone with a soda a few times too though, and like it's not ideal, and I didn't go to big parties with a lot of strangers. But yeah, I think like following that rule kind of made me more aware about my relationship with alcohol. Again, I'm not a heavy drinker. I'm 24 years old. I don't have that big a relationship with it. Alcohol is poison. We all know that. But yeah, that's really not what this video is about. So let's move on to the next. And the last rule is to take a progress picture of yourself every day. In his podcast, he says when you're in it, you forget to like celebrate small wins. For example, if you have any bodily changes, like you don't know that. So by documenting and taking a picture, you can like do that or whatever. This is obviously not a hard rule. It takes 2 seconds. You just have to remember it. I forgot it most days, to be honest. So I should have started from the start, but whatever. I did not care about this rule. I think it is very paradoxical that like, again, it is like physical things, but it is a mental challenge first and foremost. And so this simply just putting focus on the body and that you expect it to do changes, I really do not like. It is not, again, intuitive or normal to fixate so much on your body. So that's kind of why I thought it was okay that I forgot it, and I just stopped after like, I don't know, a month and a half maybe. And from what I can see, literally nothing happened. Though I think you can do the challenge by having physical goals for sure, there are more effective ways to do that instead of 75 hard. And that's why I found it weird to put that focus there. Simply by the fact that I'm kind of negative to this rule, I just didn't continue it. So sorry, and I guess I didn't complete the challenge completely through, but I, again, don't really care. Speaking of, I do need to take up something, because did I complete this challenge? I did, by the way, add another rule to myself to post on TikTok every single day during 75 hard, just to like challenge myself creatively. And I did it for a while, but then I stopped. I don't even remember why. So then a natural thing to document and like post about was the 75 hard on my TikTok, but also on my YouTube shorts if you want to check that out. I don't talk really about what I think about it, but just like what I do. And I hope I'm not losing all credibility by telling you this, but I did not complete all days. A weekend in March, I just gone for a long walk in the cold with too little clothes on the day before. That was very stupid of me, but day 62 and 63, I got kind of sick from that walk. My throat hurt really bad, and then you don't want to push down a gallon of water when your throat hurts. I tried, but I was like, I'm surrendering. I don't want to do this, because that felt like the opposite of self-care and wellness. And then for day 69, I did all the things, but I did drink alcohol. Again, I did not really follow that meal plan completely through, but it's 2 rules for whatever meal plan you chose was no alcohol and no junk. So I had not been drinking alcohol since New Year's, or since I started the challenge, but I had the house for myself that weekend, and it was soon my birthday, and I wanted to celebrate that, so I invited my friends and had a few drinks. So oops. Again, I didn't really have a big why. I could have celebrated my birthday without drinking for sure, and that's a me problem, I guess, but like I didn't really have a big why. And again, I just like failed the weekend before, so I was like, okay, it's not that a big of a deal. And also the fact that I had kind of cheated with a meal rule anyways. And also that weekend I must have caught a virus or something, because the Wednesday after, which was day 73, 74 and 75, I was very sick, felt very bad, and had the flu or COVID, I'm pretty sure. And it was so annoying, because that's like the end of the challenge, and I tried the best I could. My throat didn't hurt that much this time, just everything else hurt, so I tried to drink the gallon. Reading was not a problem. I did go for a walk every day, but not 45 minutes, so that was also very annoying. And again, then I felt like a little bit, okay, now I'm very sick and I've already cheated a few times, and I put my health over anything. I'm not stupid, so I was like, whatever. But it also sucked that the last day of this challenge I was sick and didn't care about this at all. I just wanted to be well, because when the 75th day is over, you want to feel like, oh my gosh, I just did that, but I felt nothing. I felt no momentum, no happiness, no like, I'm just, okay, great, that is over. So that was kind of unfortunate and not a great ending to this challenge. Then I want to share a few tips for completing this challenge, making it a little bit easier for yourself. I did also research before I did this, and one thing that I absolutely agree with, and that a lot of people said, is that mornings are your best friend. If you have done a workout, read your pages, and drink, what is it called? Drinking? Drunk? Drink, drinking, drank, drunk? I think it's drunk. Let's say half a gallon of water before the day has even started, you are so ahead. And that not only makes you feel productive the rest of the day, honestly, no matter what you do. And it's just very nice to like not feel behind schedule. My next tip, especially if you are in a time crunch, is to combine the habits. If let's say you do a workout while reading the book in between your sets, or while you're walking on the treadmill or something, and just chugging down those liters of water, because you have to wait between your workout sets anyways, why not just include reading in between them? You can also habit stack, which is like kind of the same, but it's it's more about combining habits you have to do, which would be the 75 hard to do things, with something that you like to do. So if you like to watch TV, but then you have to, you know, move your body for 45 minutes, habit stacking would then be, okay, you're allowed to watch TV when you go on the treadmill or something. Or if you really want to listen to a new album that come out, do that while you're on a walk outside. Or if you have a hobby and want to paint or whatever, do that while drinking water. Just like combine things that you already like and usually do and integrate these 75 hard rules with them. And then specifically for the reading rule, find a book or theme you like. My first 2 books was about like people and connections, and I find that very interesting. My third book was like a beginner Christian thing that I was interested in because I just started going to church and stuff. But my last book now, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, really feel like I don't care about as much. And it makes it so much harder to pick up the book. Like you're doing it anyways because you did commit to reading those 10 pages, but it's so much harder. So that way 75 hard is a nice way to just like executing it, but it lowers the bar to pick up that book. Like I would look forward to waking up in the morning and reading my 10 pages because I did actually enjoy it, but now I don't enjoy that book. And the 75 hard days were over before I finished my last book, so now I have a very hard time like finishing that. But yeah, that was a lot of rambling for literally nothing. Just find a book you'd like or theme that you actually feel excited about learning or reading, so it makes that rule a little bit easier. My last and maybe most important tip is to have a bigger like why am I doing this, what do you want to get out of this? And I didn't have like a big why. I was just unemployed, wanted to kickstart 2026 by like doing something like this, but on days it was challenging and hard and that I just kind of wanted to give up. It would be a lot more helpful to have a bigger why, especially since I've done like a few challenges like this before that I liked so much better and that I felt like I gained more from than I did this. Just having that why to come back to, I think would help a lot. So I would really recommend to just like sit and think through why you're doing this. But also that is kind of paradoxical because I think this is like what challenges you as well, just like showing up for yourself and just executing on what you decide. And that doesn't necessarily like require a why, or you find out the why later. So I think it's hard because your why could be just to better yourself anyways, but that's not a very motivating why when you're very demotivated, I guess. But I still wanted to include it because I think that would have helped me a lot. That for me, the why could be like a solo trip, but like really have somewhere and a date in mind. And then lastly, what did I gain out of this? Planning skills, as I talked about for sure. I did travel to London, even though I had to like plan out when to drink my water, to not having to go to the bathroom at inconvenient times. Like, and then obviously physical gains, like working out twice a day does something to your mood, getting stronger and getting energy that way. Having a productive to-do list every single day was very, very nice, especially for me as an unemployed and online student. Having like objectively good habits or like things to do every day was very nice. But most importantly, and what I feel like with all these like mental challenges, is the self like confidence you get from committing to, in this case, 75 days. That's a long time, but showing up every day for yourself, keeping the promises you make to yourself, just not letting yourself down, it's very cool. It's very empowering. It's something everyone can do. And now that like, I'll come back to that in a second, but 75 hard for me has not been the most transformative or life-changing challenge at all. I felt like I was being promised a lot more than I personally feel like I gained, but again, maybe because I didn't follow all the rules all the way through. But like going out of your comfort zone, doing something hard, when you're done doing it, which you're able to do, you're like, okay, I just did that, now I can do literally whatever, is what I feel like often with challenges or just like hard things, which is a great feeling, which is why I recommend it. If it sounds appealing though, again, I have a few skeptical thoughts about this. And again, I've done a few challenges. This is not my favorite whatsoever, just because it's very not intuitive, and over such a long period of time, that is not a combination I stand by or really want to drag into my life at all, which is honestly what I feel like you should want by doing challenges like this. But if you do think these habits sound something you want to integrate in your life and you don't really have them from before, I think it could be a good way to like really integrate them, because 75 hard is a long time. Also, I would recommend to anyone who's unemployed and just wants something fun or productive to do with your day. I don't think I would have been as sane as I have been without this, for sure. I did not expect to be unemployed this long, and since a lot of people say it's life-changing, I'm sure it is for them, and great. It can be for you. It was not for me. If you think this sounds fun, sure, go for it, but if not, I don't know if I would necessarily recommend it or do this again myself. So yeah, I think that's gonna be my conclusion. Thank you so much for watching. If you've done this 75 hard yourself or have any thoughts, agreements, or disagreements, let me know in the comments. Let's discuss, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.